There are some disheartening numbers out this week from Statistics Canada around how long the average person will live in this country. Canada's life expectancy has dropped for the third year in a row, while death rates have gone up by 7.3% since 2021. Here's the numbers. According to Statistics Canada, mortality rates spiked by 7.3% in every province except for Nunavut. For a closer look at why, we are joined by the University of Toronto bioethicist Carrie Bowman. Always good to have you on the show. Welcome back. I wish this was sort of a happier story we were discussing. Let's get into some of the factors. A reminder, we're expecting to see that life expectancy drop in Canada from 81.6 to 81.3. And also the third year in a row that we've seen this number happen, this number dropping. We listed a couple of reasons why. What's the main factor?
Well, you've got COVID, but that's not the only factor, right? So COVID has been with us. What's very surprising about, there's a lot of things that are surprising to me, but one of them is that, you know, the pandemic is not as acute as it was. We all know that, and we're looking at last year's data, yet the rate of death was higher. So it does tell us that likely, with easing up on restrictions, the new variants, which we are all assuming are so benign, aren't really benign for everybody. So in fact, you had a higher death rate in the last year from COVID than from before.
People will ask if that also has to do with age, because we have a larger aging population. Is that what's driving up the number, or are there other factors behind it?
Many other factors. In fact, age is sometimes the less of it, because, right, the way it's calculated, if it's the number of years lived. So if younger people die, that will affect the numbers more. It's almost certain that there's a lot of factors here, and this is kind of a blunt instrument, but it's almost certain that the fentanyl, the drug overdose crisis, is a part of this complex equation.
You know, what's interesting about that is I remember during COVID speaking to, in particular, people out in BC where the numbers were very high, that they kept saying this is a twin crisis.
Yeah, and they were right. They were right. But just going back to what you said in the intro, you know, as a Canadian, it feels bad. I mean, this is one of our points of security, that we live in a wonderful country. And, you know, in my lifetime, I've watched it rise, not fall. And, you know, it's not about your health and my health, but what it is about is public health and the overall health picture of the country. Look, though, we don't have a lot of granular data, but what we do know is life expectancy is different, tied to race, socioeconomic status. So there's a lot that's going on, and there's secondary effects like the delays in our healthcare system. The mental health crisis has really impacted people's mental health, obviously, but their physical health as well. So Canada is moving towards larger data sets, which is really what we need. And we will.
Why do we need that?
We need to look at health as a broad spectrum of socio-demographic factors. We need to look at the big picture. Look at what we're dealing with food insecurity, homelessness. We've really got to focus on the big picture and not your health, my health. That's up to us mostly, right? But the big stuff is what really matters.
So the takeaway from this is take a close look at healthcare.
Absolutely. Healthcare in this country and how we're doing. And, you know, the question would be, is this going to change? Are we going to go back up? I don't know. And the reason I don't know is the wild card, is the pandemic truly over? Will there be other infectious diseases rising quickly?
Right.
Fentanyl crisis, is it going to get better? Is it going to get worse? I don't know.
You know, we have been following along the last few years. There have been doctors in every province who have written these open letters saying if we don't fix what's happening in healthcare, if everything lands in the emergency room, we will start to lose people.
And that's part of it. That's part of it. But look, it is not a great indicator. I find it very discouraging, but we are using it, you know, to get to the nitty-gritty of what needs to change.
Can the numbers improve?
They can.
What would it take?
It would take an improved healthcare system.
Okay.
It would take, you know, the COVID to get better, and absolutely dealing with homelessness, poverty, and the fentanyl crisis. All of that's woven together, by the way. Yeah.
And the look at preventative health care, which is what doctors have been saying for a while.
Race, socioeconomic, all of those things matter. And we don't have a lot of good, important data for the Indigenous people of Canada as well. That's so necessary.
Important to have you here for this conversation. Thanks for adding some clarity around these numbers.
Happy to do so.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.